Namaskar, Adab, Sat Shri Akal, and a very good morning to you all. This is Ananya Bose, and I am here with the third episode of Virtual Chat Session with Entrepreneurly India. Today's episode is extremely special to me because we have not one but two guests with us, SAMPRITI DUTTA and SMRUTHI Iyer, the very founders of Unbottle, a mental health awareness initiative and a social platform to express pent up emotions and even contact therapists and counselors at better, reasonable prices. The most unique feature that happens to distinguish them from the other leaders is that they are just college graduates from the prestigious University of HANSRAJ DU and have accomplished so much, taken Unbottle to such a huge level at such a tender young age. Hi Sampriti, hi Smriti. Thank you for joining us. It's wonderful having you here.
Thank you so
Hi,
much for having us.
thank you for those kind words. That's a lot.
Okay, actually, you'll be getting even a lot more. So, starting with mental health and distress happens to be a humanitarian crisis right now, especially amongst youngsters and young adults because of the cutthroat competition, and your team targeted this issue. Could you tell us more about your journey?
So, the idea of Unbottle actually birthed from our own experiences. Like, we were in our second year, we were four college students, and we were very close friends also. And we had some pretty bad experiences and good experiences, and we could see that our mental health was really something that we needed to talk about, and something that had to be emphasized on. So like the start of pandemic was obviously a very hard time for all of us. We were also all sheltered in our houses. Of course other people maybe had or obviously had it worse from us, but it had a huge impact on us mentally. And then we went ahead to look out for better resources about getting our mental health in a better state. But honestly, there was not much information out there. There was not much authentic information out there, and we saw that there was a huge gap between in our society about the topic of mental health. Like, it's still considered a taboo. People still don't want to talk about it, right?
Exactly. Even the parents, especially the Indian parents, unfortunately.
Especially the generation above us. Like, of course, there are exceptions, but it's not the rule. Usually, parents do feel that mental health is just a myth, right?
Yeah.
So basically, we started as an anonymous page where we used to lend a, ear to all of those who wanted to talk or vent. But we knew that there was a boundary or, a barrier that we can't cross because we are not professionals, we're just students. And while talking to a lot of anonymous people, we realized that nobody is willing to talk to their close ones about what they're going through. I mean, the fact that they would rather talk to a stranger on a social media page instead of talking to their parents or their friends or seek out professional help made us realize that maybe it's time that we bring up this issue and start talking about it. And we just wanted to make sure that more and more people get to know about what exactly is your mental health and how does it get affected by different factors and reasons, and what are the different things that can go wrong, and why it should not be considered as a taboo. Because even while talking at home during the initial stages of this initiative, we realized that even most of our parents were not really comfortable around the entire paradigm of mental health illnesses, right? So we talked to a lot of friends as well, and we found out that most of us, like 90% of students, are not willing to go and talk to their parents about mental health issues that they're going through. They won't talk about their anxiety attacks, they won't talk about their panic attacks with their parents. And again, it becomes really difficult for a college student whose parents are not that supportive to go and seek professional help, because mental health professional help in India is really expensive at the moment, and not most of us cannot afford it, right?
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah. So initially, when I used to go and seek mental health support from a professional, it used to cost me around 3,000 rupees per hour, which is not something that a normal college student can afford from their budget, right?
Exactly.
So then decided that this is something that needs to be brought up so that there is more awareness about it. And when there is more awareness, people will reach out to more professional help, right? And at the same time, we also wanted to make professional help more affordable. So as to say that we wanted it to be something that, you know, people who do not have much resources, people who cannot confide in their parents or ask them for money, they can also afford mental health therapy or ask for professional help without feeling like they cannot afford it. And the only reason that they were backing out from that is mainly lack of awareness, and secondly that it was really inaccessible to them, and thirdly it was not affordable for them. So these were the three areas that we wanted to target. We wanted to make everyone more aware about various mental health illnesses that are usually prevalent in the society, but at the same time, when we were creating this awareness, we started collaborating with students who were majoring in psychology, right? And that's when we realized that there's a very clear cut demarcation about the information that you can put out as awareness on mental health pages, because we don't want people to internalize symptoms. For example, today, if I am feeling a little low and I Google that, am I depressed, then I'm sure that whatever symptoms it's listed out there, I will feel like I have those symptoms, right? So there were so many aspects that we had to keep in mind when we started out with this page, and we took, you know, tiptoe across it, because we did not want to cross any boundaries. We didn't want to seem like people who were, you know, trying to fake professional help or something. And our main objective was to help people connect to professional help who are actually affordable. So then we started collaborating with a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists across the country. We found out people, and then we realized there's a clear cut demarcation between psychiatrists and psychologists, right? And then we found out all of that. And little by little, we came up with our own website where we came up with a consolidated list of 20 to 25 psychologists. And we personally made sure that these people are, you know, compatible, these people are competent, and they're good psychologists. We had everything verified and everything, so people can then see what is their specialization and then select the psychologist that they would like to go with, right? So it's something that there's a lack of psychologists that you can reach out to, because most of us don't know anyone out there, right? So when we bring in a list of these people on a particular page, these, like, as a student, if I open Unbottle's website, I can see these people's name, I can see where they specialize in, and then I can contact them, and then I can figure out expenses, and then accordingly I can select one professional helper for me. And at the same time, most of these people are also professional helpers who consider that the fact that you're a student, and there are several people who also understand that you may not be able to afford, so they have certain schemes and plans that you can follow, and, you know, go seek mental health therapy in a very, very affordable and accessible way.
Yeah, that's really thoughtful. Sampriti said that, you know, and even I agree with her, that a lot of parents, especially Indian parents, don't really think much about mental health. So how did your parents take it when, you know, you told them you're going to start some initiative like this? Because even my parents, they are mostly about internships and research projects and things that they can, you know, they think is more important and can be put up in your CV and resume. So how did your parents go about it?
So I think for Smriti's parents are already very supportive, and she got lucky with that. And Smriti was always very vocal about her own experiences, and I think that's how she made her parents realize. But for me, I am someone for whom it's very difficult to anyways express my emotions. And when I am in a bad mental state, I am someone who just, you know, goes
Shuts
back into
up.
my yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I shut out the world. So it was obviously tough for me. And the thing is, my parents are very supportive of all the endeavors I take. But however, it was something that they were actually confused about, because honestly, they do not have much knowledge about what mental health is and why is it important to be aware about, you know, the mental health illnesses. For them, everything categorizes under the category of, we all know, madness. right? So
Yeah.
any psychological problem is madness for them. But I feel it's different for every household, and I cannot assure that what worked for me will work for everyone. But I think talking to them, like making them understand over a period of time, might have helped me. Of course, a lot of parents, my parents were also very stubborn because they're set in their ways, and they have been they have been systematically taught that mental health is not important. It is just a myth. So it is quite difficult to get them out of their ways.
Is she stuck?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'll just pause.
Recording stop over.
uh,
Oh,
yeah,
she got stuck again. I love this.
yeah, Sampriti.
So yeah, so what might have worked for me might not work for everyone because every household is different and every family functions in a different way. But for me, talking about it again and again, and talking about my endeavor with them again and again might have, you know, kind of helped them to understand what I really want to do. And I am pretty sure that still my parents do not understand that why am I continuing with Unbottle. But I have understood that my emotions or what I want to do doesn't need to be validated by everyone, right? But yeah, definitely one thing, you have to talk to your parents. You cannot let it just you cannot just let it sit under the umbrella ki, oh, there is a generational gap or communication gap and I cannot talk to them about this. You have to try once or twice to make them understand, because it's just they're ignorant and sometimes stubborn, but mostly they're ignorant. And I'm pretty sure if there is enough awareness, they might just come out of that space where they think mental health is such a taboo and we shouldn't talk about it.
So it's been around 1.5 years after Unbottle took place, right? So how much did it succeed in making your parents realize that mental health is not a myth anymore, and not just your parents, but others as well?
Okay, so initially when we started out with the initiative, we didn't really have a lot of support, even in terms of our friends and family. We didn't get a lot of support because people didn't really realize why we were doing what we were doing. But I think a month or two into it, we started getting a flood of messages every time we would put up a new post. Every time we would have a new
That
post,
used
we
to make our day. Yeah.
yeah, we used to get so many DMs, and people would just keep texting us that you're doing such a good job. I never knew about this. This is something new that I learned. And I remember once we got a long message, we started getting messages from anonymous people also, not just our friends and family, but people who may know someone from our circle, like, friends of
Hmm.
friends and people from different colleges in DU itself. They started texting us that every time your page posts something, we learn something new that we didn't know before. It's really refreshing to see the content is so good. And like, we're becoming more and more aware every day. And most of the time it was we would not just stick to just spreading awareness. We would do these very small little campaigns. For example, I remember we did something called flamboyant during the quarantine. This was literally a very tiny concept where we decided to embrace the flaws that we have, especially during quarantine when we couldn't go cut our hair or wax or pluck our eyebrows and everything, right? And all of us were looking like, most of I remember so many people stopped doing video calls because they were not comfortable with how they were looking. I remember my
True
friends
that.
saying, ugly lag rahi hu, mujhe nahi karna video call, I don't feel like myself, I don't like how I look right now. So we did this little campaign called Flamboyant, in which we just posted everybody's natural pictures in black and white with a very tiny message about how um you know you are beautiful irrespective of your flaws, even in spite of your flaws, because flaws are also beautiful, kind of a thing. And I remember so many people were like, touched by that thing, and so many people started posting their selfies and tagging us there, like on their Instagrams. They started tagging Unbottle, like that they're also going to be flamboyant kind of thing. And it was really, really nice to see how people were reacting. We also did this other little post, which was, I think, on how people judge and shame people, and how we shouldn't call people names, right? So we came up with so many, we asked people, Ki, what are the names or judgments that people have passed across to you? What insecurities do they hit on you, right? And we just made a little video out of it. And I remember so many people shared it, and so many people started talking about it. And that was our main motive, right? When we put a video or we put a post, we want people to share it amongst themselves, and we want them to discuss on it. And I think we achieved that. We know that a lot of people started talking about these things, and that's how we initiated discussions. And it's really, really nice to see. Even my mom used to come and tell me sometimes, like she used to go through our page and everything, and she'd be like, "Acha, ye cheez mujhe pehle nahi pata tha. This is something new." And it used to be really nice to see my mom, take interest in what I'm doing. And she used to send it to a lot of people in my family itself.
That must have
And
felt really well, because like
yeah,
most of the time my mom just drives me away whenever I'm telling her about something that she doesn't understand.
I think the best part is that my mom would like, I think she has started talking to so many more people in my family that it's so important to go and seek help when you need it. And the very fact that the discussions I had with my mom, now she has it with so many of our relatives who were completely alien to the concept of mental health. So yeah, I think that's really, really nice.
So
It is.
basically, for the main motive was to start the conversation, because everyone's so afraid of, like, getting into the conversation. Our motive was to put out these thought-provoking questions, and like talk about flaws and talk about labels, and help people also talk about it in a more I don't know, free manner. Yeah. And the thing about parents, I can tell you one thing that was kind of a growth for us is, so we also used to do this series sort of thing. We did 2 or 3 open mics, okay? And in our open mics, people would come and share their poetry, their art, basically, with us, whatever they wanted to. Like, if they wanted to sing, they wanted to perform a piece or slam, anything they wanted to do, they'd come and just, yeah, basically perform in front of people their art. And I remember the last open mic we held, we had so many people from the parent group. Even Smriti's father, in fact, performed with us on that day.
Oh my god,
So,
wow.
yeah, so like people from different age groups had come for that open mics to listen to us, not listen to us, to the people who were performing. And you
And the
just
whole idea is just to have a space to come and vent. That's it. That's all it is. Like, you vent however you want to. And do you remember we also had this one support group kind of an open mic? So it was
yeah.
basically moderated by a professional, a psychologist, Durgesh. So he was there with us to moderate the entire thing. And people were just coming and talking about their past experiences and what they go through. And it doesn't need to be something so dramatic or, very extreme. Some people had extreme incidents, some people had very normal incidents in their life that still bothered them, right? And the whole idea was that no problem is big or small. Like, nobody else gets to be a judge about if a problem is big or small. Everyone has
Exactly.
their own problems, and
Yeah.
you can't label someone's problem as small or big, or you cannot say that that person has it worse than you, so you should be stronger than this and things like that, because we all are different human beings. We have different levels of tolerance, right?
Tolerance
And
and strengths. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I think we've done quite a few events and campaigns and things like that, and it's really nice to see how people have welcomed us always, and always supported us in ways. Never really received any kind of backlash or anything, because the thing is, we knew our limits, कि हम कितना कर सकते हैं और कितना हम नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि हमें पता है हम professionals नहीं है, right?
Yeah.
So we have never crossed that boundary, and I think that's why people still support us in what we do, because we would never go out and tell people, you should do this or you should do that, because we know that we can't say that, we're not professionals. So yeah, our motive is just to spread awareness and to bridge the gap between people who are seeking mental health therapy and people who are giving mental health therapy.
All right. So both of you just finished college and you were doing esteemed and tough to follow up courses as well. Like Sampriti was doing English ons and I think you were doing economic ons. Yeah. So how did you manage academics along with your initiative? Tell us about your time management routines. How did you divide your day and prioritize your tasks?
So we had online classes throughout, so it was pretty easy to
All
manage
right.
during online classes. It used to become a little difficult during exams, which is why we always had this policy that we would have our work done way before we knew that we were going to have exams. Plus, we were a group of 10 people, and our entire aim is to ensure that people realize what is the importance of mental health. So we would never put anyone in that spot जहाँ पे उनका mental health affect हो. So if anyone is busy or they have too much going on, then we had we have such an open platform that people and all the juniors also who are working with us in this initiative, if we tell them ki, hey, can you get this work done, and at the second they tell me that, hey, listen, I'm not going through a good time, or they say that I'm really busy right now, could you give me a few more days, then it was always like, yes, like you can take as much time as you want. We would never put pressure on any of our teammates that you to abhi karna padega. We were always given that time off. Even the co-founders also, all four of us, anytime one of us felt like they had too much on their plate, then they would say that, listen, I need a little bit time off right now. Even a few days ago, when we were discussing certain things in Unbottle, one of our co-founders had some issues going on at home, and she said that, listen, I need some time off because I need to focus on what's happening at home. And we have that kind of openness, or that bond where we let each other be when we need them to be, right? So, and we know that the second they're okay, they will pick up where they left off, and they'll help us bring more to the plateau always. So and even before exams, so we would have our content that we needed to do. So it was always like, some people would bring in ideas, some people would get the posts done, and other people would make the graphics and everything. So the work was always divided that you wouldn't need to spend more than a couple of hours in the entire week, which is something that you can very easily manage. Initially, it used to be really difficult because we had so much to bring in because we were just starting out. Now we've reached that level of stable platform where, we can post one or two posts a week, because our major thing is to spread awareness and not spam people with content, because not every day you want to wake up and read something about mental health. You just want that hope or that sort of a positivity, which we do. We keep putting these stories that reinforce positivity in your life and everything, and that doesn't really take a lot of time. When we're doing events, we plan them way ahead in time, so that there is no stress right before the event. If we know that we're going to have an open mic, then it is planned 3 weeks before the date is decided. Everyone makes sure that they're free, right? And we design the posters and everything. We contact the professionals we need to, and we set everything properly. And it's always a very chill process. It's a very easy process that we follow. It's never stressful. And we, because हमारा मेन एम ही ये है कि हम सबको जिंदगी में समझाए कि मेंटल हेल्थ कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है. इट्स सो इम्पोर्टेंट टू बी पीसफुल इन योर लाइफ. तो हम किसी को वो एंजाइटी या कुछ देना ही नहीं चाहते. So our team works really well that way. And the best part is कि हमारा team जो है, it's a very close knit team. We're a group of 10 people at the moment. And we're all so open with each other, and we're also at ease with each other, because everyone knows that ye person ye kaam karega. So it's never clashing or creating issues, and it's a very smooth process that happens.
Yeah,
So
like you have different fortes which are not overlapping with each other.
exactly. So it never has been an issue during academics. And agar kisi ke, we have people from different colleges also, right? So like for example, if one of them has exams going on, they would inform us pre-hand that, hey, listen, I have my exams going on from this day to this day, so I won't be active at that point. And we completely understand that. We don't want to push them ki nahi exams hai to bhi karna padega kind of thing. We never practice that. So yeah, that's how it works.
Thing is, we're not in a hurry for anything. This is our own endeavor, and we do everything at our own pace.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
do not put out content when you do not feel up to it, right? There is nothing to be forced here. So yeah, that was one of the main mottos we started with, that we'll be on our own pace at every point, right?
Mhm.
And that is why, and the other thing is, we really liked what we were doing.
Yeah,
So it was,
exactly.
and the moment we didn't like it, we'll be like, okay, we're taking a break now, because we do not want to put out content that we do not feel uh ourselves, right? We do not feel ourselves with. So yeah, that is why it was not a burden for us.
Yeah, there is this Chinese philosopher who had this famous saying that find a job that you love, then you never have to work again. So I think
Yeah.
that applies here. Anyway, Smriti, you again and again said that you hosted events where you actually invited psychologists, professionals. So doing economics and English ons, how did you reach those people? How did you reach those professionals? Was it through mutual or acquaintances or apps like LinkedIn or some other way out?
It was like a mixture of everything. So we had two psychology majors working with us. So they were from, one was from Gargi College and one was from Jesus and Mary. One was, they are from Gargi and
They've
Jesus.
graduated.
They've
Okay.
graduated now. So
Yeah.
they're from
Right.
our batch only. So the thing is, these people intern with different psychologists during their college years for different internship purposes, right? So they started contacting the people they interned with or the companies that they interned with. And from there, they gave us more people to contact. Like in their circle, they might have other psychologists who work um, and our first criteria was to tell them that we want people who are affordable and who can be more accessible, right? And we wanted people who were doing online sessions back then because of the quarantine and everything. So they gave us more people and contacts. We started contacting them, we started getting on calls with them, and after a point we had this huge list of 40 people, out of which we talked to a lot of them, and then we brought it down to people we thought that are more affordable and more accessible. And also we had to verify them. There are certain certificates and degrees that you check, which the people who were doing psychology honors were doing, because since we weren't that aware about these things, they were more equipped with that and they checked everything. And then we also, from day one, we had a psychologist on board with us, and we would ask her everything before putting out any kind of information, right? And she also helped us shortlist a lot of people, and that's just how we got things done.
Okay. So you and your team named your social and noble cause as Unbottle, which I think is a very unique name. So what's the thought behind this name? How did you come up with it?
So unbottle basically for us to meant unbottling our emotions, right? Our
Yeah.
main purpose starting our endeavor was to, help people vent out their emotions and feeling and express themselves freely. So when we were just starting, we were just, this initiative was just in the progress of being made. Uh, we had couple of names in our mind, but the name that instantly clicked with us was Unbottle, because that's what we started with. Even like lending an anonymous ear to people, our main motive was to help people unbottle themselves. So thus stuck with Unbottle, and even right now the name resonates with us so much, and we are so glad that we actually picked out Unbottle for us, because there is no other um word that can actually describe our endeavor better.
Yeah. So you also have your own brand logo, and there's this design. The theme
Mhm.
colors are blue and black and white. So brand logo and design is one of the distinguishing features of any initiative or entrepreneur. So what's the story behind this? Did you design it, or who designed it and
No.
how?
So I had a friend called Joseph. So we just contacted him. He is a graphic designer, and like he's still in college. So we told him about our initiative, and I asked him if he would be willing to design a logo for us. And he was really interested because it was such a creative idea. So what we had in mind was that we wanted him to show. So this was the only brief that we had given him, that we said that since it is about unbottling, we want a bottle and we want the bottle to open. So when you open the bottle, there's fizz that comes out, because when you close this airtight bottle with fizz, it's
Yeah.
because you're suppressing it, right?
Yeah,
And the
right.
second you open it, it releases itself and the fizz comes out. So that was the entire idea. So if you would see, we basically have two logos. The one that is on our Instagram page, that is the cap of the bottle. That's the if you see any Coke bottle or anything, so that's the cap of the bottle. The blue part, blue is usually the color that is associated with mental health, which is why we went for blue. Like light blue is a color for mental health always. And inside there's a corkscrew, which is used to open a bottle. So
Right.
that's what was the entire idea of the Instagram logo. And then we have one main logo, which is just the bottle and the cap of the bottle, right? So
I
yeah,
think we
so
used it only during our first posts. I think that logo.
yeah, do you want me to show it to you? I can just show it to you.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
This
so
was
we
just
have
when we kickstarted our initiative.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we also have the sound of the cork opening it. Arey, band ho gaya.
it's fine. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, so we just had this. So that is the corkscrew, and you would see that there's a brain that is there
Yeah.
engraved right
Yeah.
behind it.
It
So it's the
actually took
bottom
me
which is
a
open.
second to figure the whole thing out, because it's a lot of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is the corkscrew opening the bottle, and that's the brain. So it's basically like, opening up your mental health feelings or what you're going through inside. You're opening up your emotions. So yeah, so the
But yeah,
phys
all the credit goes to our friend who designed it because
yeah,
it's brilliant. Our
Yep.
logo is brilliant. That's
came a
something which
very
we pride in.
random brief, and this
Yeah,
is what he came up with, and it is so detailed, which is why it is so great.
Exactly. Yeah, like the picture portrays your main idea very well. It's really,
yeah, yeah.
detailed and deep. So, in your page, in your platform, you cover topics like doom scrolling, hookup culture, quarantine depression, and a lot many more. However, there happens to be thousands of motions and sub agendas underneath the bigger umbrella of mental health. So, how and why did you select these topics from those many thousands?
Okay,
Uh,
so Sam, you can go ahead.
okay, so mental health is a very vast topic and quite impossible for us to actually go ahead and cover everything. We are trying to cover things that we feel might resonate with the audience the most. Because for us, the target audience is going to be teenagers or people who are in college.
Youngsters. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, we select. It's not like we select we select these topics and we are like, "Huh, we are going to cover this in the next 7 months." It's not like that for us. Every week or every 2 weeks, we have this brainstorming session, and people come up with topics that they want to talk about during that week or during
Also
that
like
span of
things that they've been finding relevant at that point of time. For example,
yeah,
doom
exactly.
scrolling was because recently there was so much negativity in the news, and every single day you used to open your phone, it was just negative news, right? Which is why we
Yeah.
decided that we need to come up with a post which helps us deal with doom scrolling, because a lot of us were getting very affected. And the thing is, hum sab usi age group mein aate hain, right? So
Right.
things that we go through, it means that a lot of others also go through the same emotions. So that's how we used to do it.
Yeah, so usually we just go with our gut with what we want to talk about. So yeah, that's how we select the topics we want to
Yeah,
talk
and then
about.
we research a bit about it, and then we finally come. So we come up with 10 ideas, we research on it, then we fix 5 ideas which are very relevant and which need to be talked about, and which we see that not a lot of people have talked about it before. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, like just go with the flow, I get it. It worked amazing. So you recently conducted Musalsal 3.0. So could you talk about it, and what is Musalsal and what are the motives behind this event raising?
Do you want me to do it? Okay.
Okay.
Musalsal basically means constancy. Okay.
Okay.
So our entire theme was based on, even though times are changing so much these days, especially during quarantine, all of us were stuck at home. We were so frustrated, and so many things were changing around us, but we were still stuck.
Yeah.
Everything around you is changing, but you're still stuck. But that stuck feeling, how to deal with that kind of a thing. And art is such a good way to express yourself. We were covering posts on music therapy, arts therapy, dance therapy. Suddenly we realized that venting out your emotions via the medium of art is such a beautiful way to go about it. Instead of just yelling at someone or ranting, or going and using someone as a punching bag, when you vent it out using art, it is such a good escape, right? And what our idea was that even though everything around you is changing, art is something which always remains constant. And that was the entire idea of Musalsal. And we basically had a lot of people coming and doing poetry, storytelling. People had written letters to loved ones. They read out those. We had musicians, we had people playing the piano, singing, with people on the guitar. And yeah, so we had a lot of people, and it was really nice. Like, and it was an open platform where everyone would appreciate each other. I remember the Zoom chat used to flood with
Love.
texts that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
It
compliments
used to be
and
That
so
must have
much
been
fun.
really overwhelming.
Yeah.
overwhelming in a good way, I'd say, of
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
course, of course. Right.
And our main motto was to create a safe space for people to, express themselves through their
Exactly.
form of art. So yeah,
That's a
that's what
really, really
it was
noble
for us.
cause, and it worked wonders for a lot of people. Even I participated in that event where you were collecting poems and drawings, and I flaunted it
Yeah,
a
yeah, I
lot.
remember.
Yeah, and I actually flaunted and flexed it a lot in my peer group. So it was really fun. So, all right. So let's. I have little something for you. We have a couple of rapid fire questions for both of you, and I hope you know the rules of this game. You just have to answer spontaneously. Thinking is not allowed. So the first question is, what were
Okay, you're
you?
making me nervous now.
No, no, no. I'm damn sure you have done this a lot of times in Ideal. So, what were you doing before this interview?
I was eating.
I just got ready. I was sleeping, just woke up and
When do you
put on a
wake
shirt.
up? I mean, I am guessing you wake up at 1:30 or something.
Yeah, you're spot
I
on.
was
I woke up
at
at 1:30.
Okay,
ten.
really, really nice sleeping schedule. All right. So when you're not working, how do you like to spend your time?
Reading,
Netflix.
watching books. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also read
Netflix any
books
day.
also, and Sam dances up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I dance too. I like dance. She knows me better than I do.
Okay. So if you could win an Olympic medal for any sport, real or fake, what would it be?
Tennis.
I
मुझे
think
खेलना नहीं आता, but tennis.
swimming. I don't know how to swim, but yeah, swimming.
I get it. I got the one. Define life in DU in one line. This is something that I really am intrigued about.
Eventful.
Bitter, bittersweet.
Bittersweet. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question is, I think, gonna be loved by Sampriti, because yeah, I mean, I know her love for Vandi. Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, and Bella Hadid are coming for brunch. What's going to be on the menu?
A lot of tea, definitely.
Tea,
Why?
like tea.
I'm just playing with the words, bro. It's like spilling
Oh,
the tea and blah blah.
okay, I got the one right. So, what's the last book that you read?
Go ahead.
Smriti.
Power of habit.
So the last book I read was a book that was in my course.
Okay.
Actually, it was not just one book. I've read 2, 3 books at one go because I had my exams. So I read what did I read? Yeah, I read In Custody. I
In
remember.
custody. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
reading.
I did. I read In Custody, and I was reading short stories by Sadat Hassan Manto. So yeah, a lot of partition reading I was doing.
Okay. So trilogies or series?
Series.
Yes.
Harry Potter or Twilight?
Harry Potter.
Thank God. Paulo Coelho or Jane Austen?
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen.
Good choices. Favorite superhero? Not
Catwoman.
a very big fan of Avengers or Marvels, I see.
No.
But
Yeah.
if I had to go, then
I
I
can
would go for
relate.
Catwoman.
So what's that something that they don't teach you in college, but you should definitely know about life?
Adjusting.
They don't teach you that in college. They do. They make us do all the bad things.
No, they don't
They
teach
make
you
us
how to
attend classes. Like that is the biggest adjustment of
I
life.
don't think that's an adjustment. I think you should attend classes. Don't be like us.
That's a bit too late. I'm already not like attendance is I think in 15%.
Yeah.
Damn, too bad. If you were part of a sitcom family, which sitcom family would you be a part of?
Friends or How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, we are very basic friends.
Friends.
Friends is not basic. Friends is iconic. In fact, How I Met
That
Your
is why
Mother
it's
is
basic.
basically.
I don't mind being Schitt's Creek family person also.
Oh yeah, you should speak to. Does Brooklyn Nine-Nine count as a sitcom?
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Nine-Nine.
a sitcom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not-
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can make it out that Sampriti does watch a lot of Netflix. So, if a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be? And please don't say conspiracy.
Rom-com, rom-com, rom-com.
Okay. Definitely eventful.
Comedy.
Sam, तेरा rom-com ही होगा, चुप कर.
All right. So, with this, we come to an end. So, yeah, Sampriti, is it rom com or what?
I don't know. It's a mixture of everything. Life's a mixture of everything, you know?
I cannot
I'm
deal
just
with
gonna be.
first today. It's
Okay. All right. Rohit Shetty
I can't like
definitely.
really limit my life to one category. It's very huge and diverse.
Ekta Kapoor and Rohit Shetty definitely wants to know your location. All right. So with this, we come to an end. And thank you, Sampriti, and thank you, Smriti. It was really wonderful. And after this ends, you both are going to give me some Netflix good recommendations. Thank you.
sure.
Definitely.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
talking.
Bye bye. Peace out.